and welcome to the inside of the new BMW M3. This is exciting. This is not a bad day at the office, but before I start, just let me remind you quickly that the Cars.co.za app is completely free. It's the #1 autos app in the Google Play Store, over 1.5 million downloads. Search all 65,000 of our used cars and get the latest new car pricing and specs. It automatically updates. You don't have to do anything. It's always got the latest pricing. It's freaking brilliant. Go check it out. Right, here we go. The latest Bavarian barnstorming M3 review. Are you ready to hear the mating call of Bedford View? BMW M car. If that's not loud enough for you, it's got 2 exhaust modes. Ooh, bassy. Let me take you through putting this car into M mode. There's a button down here which says M mode, so that's not that hard to figure out. Press that and it changes your dials to this new M design, and you get this really cool big rev counter in your heads-up display. You then have 2 fully configurable M buttons, M1 on the left, M2 on the right. Let's go for M2. It asks you to confirm. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure you want M2? Is that what you really want? Okay, cool. Driving stability is now restricted. We are in M dynamic mode, and yeah, let's build a little bit of revs and get going. Whoa, slipping all the way in first, all the way in second, and a little bit in third, fourth. That's 140 km an hour. Wow, that was violent. Okay, 190. Sheesh, this thing is quick. It's not so wild. Right, now in this review, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the looks. I tweeted about this car and everyone said, ha ha ha, do you have to look at the grille while you're inside it? No, obviously you don't. The thing is, looks are subjective. This is a very divisive car. It's been probably one of the most talked about designs in recent history. My personal opinion, the more angular effect of the large kidneys on the M3 and the M4 looks way better than the standard 4 Series. I like what they've done with the sort of nostril effect on the bonnet. Overall, I actually think this is a successful design. You know, I remember reading an interview with one of the big honchos at BMW M, and he said he is so tired of reading articles where car journalists go on about how the M3 CSL from the E46 era was this hardcore BMW, and BMWs have never felt the same, and he wanted this car to be hardcore, to shut us all up. And yeah, I think he's done it. In fact, if there's a CSL version after this, that is going to be epic, because this thing is raw, this thing is edgy, this thing scares you a little bit, and I think that is kind of the point of an M car. It should scare you a little bit. So what are we dealing with here? This is the new 3-litre straight 6, which you'll also find in the X4 and X3M. In fact, that's where they debuted this engine. 375 kilowatts, 650 Newton meters. We'll put the horsepower figure on the screen for you because I don't know what it is and I don't care. 0 to 100, 3.9 seconds. That's pretty damn quick for a rear-wheel drive car. In fact, it's the same 0 to 100 time as the all-wheel drive Audi Quattro that we raced it against in our drag race. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. But here's this car's Achilles heel. It doesn't get off the line well. It really doesn't. You've sort of got 2 options, right? You put it with all the traction control on and you use the launch control software and you bog down. Or you take the traction control off and, as I've just showed you, you wheel spin right through 3rd gear. So this is not a robot-to-robot champion. If you would like to take on your friends or your enemies at the traffic lights, I do not recommend this car. Wait for the all-wheel drive version. But if you want something exciting, if you want a car that's going to challenge you, if you want a car that's going to be more rewarding, the more you get used to it and the braver you get, then this is the one you want. You want this rear-wheel drive BMW M3. Even though in a straight line this car battles for traction, through the corners it's just epic. In fact, I'd almost say that you don't actually need the all-wheel drive system unless you really are obsessed with getting the same 0 to 100 time and launching perfectly on any surface. I would actually say this is the one to go for, because you've got enough traction in the corners so that you don't end up in the trees, and when you do have the opportunity to have a bit of fun, well then you can. I think what BMW have got right here is they've really made this experience about the driver. Everything in here feels attuned to what the driver would want or need. I really like that. And some nice little touches, like on the back of these carbon fiber pedals, on the up pedal it's quite rough at the back, and on the down pedal it's quite smooth. So you get this very sort of tactile reminder of which is which. It just feels very, very driver focused, and I really, really like that. This car has some pretty stiff competition, and I've driven the equally priced Porsche Cayman GT4 with that wonderful 4-litre flat 6 naturally aspirated engine. Makes one of the best noises I've ever heard in a car. Manual gearbox, low slung, mid-engined, and you can get it for the same price as this car. That's interesting. And a lot of people have been asking me on social media, would I choose this or a Cayman? And I think that the reality is that these are very different cars. First of all, in an M4 or an M3, you get two very usable back seats, which you do not get in a Cayman because that's where your engine is. Dynamically, of course they're going to be different. The engine's in front of me right now. In a Cayman, it would be behind me. And the Cayman has a lower center of gravity. So yes, they're going to be very different dynamically as well. On a track, sure, the Cayman's probably going to be a little bit faster. But to be honest, even though they're close on price, I don't think they're rivals. I think you have to look at this against the Alfa Romeo Giulia QV, you have to look at the C63, the Audi RS5, the Jaguar XE rather. Those are this car's natural rivals, and I think dynamically this is the best one. Dynamically, in terms of a sporty, rewarding, challenging car to drive, this trumps it for me over all of them. This is about the same price as the Mercedes C63 AMG, and that is an older car now. That car's due to be replaced at some stage, and I think, as we know, they're moving away from the V8s, and we'll get a 2-litre hybrid in there. And all that's got me thinking, is this it? Is this the last hurrah for the M3 as we know it? Is this the last large internal combustion non-hybrid M3 we're going to get? I think it might be. And if that's the case, then this thing is going out with a bang, because I think this is the best M3 ever. I really love the different characteristics that they've managed to engineer into this car. It feels serious, but it feels playful. It feels raw, but it feels controlled. It feels edgy, but it also feels like it's got you covered and it's got your back. It's a wonderful combination of characteristics and character traits that very few vehicles display. I mean, you could, you know, if I was to put all those character traits in a list for you, you'd probably say, okay, well, I'm describing 3 different vehicles, but I'm not. I'm just describing this, the new M3. Thanks very much for watching. If you've just watched this video but you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, you absolutely should do that immediately right now. Click the subscribe button. It's a good idea for a bunch of reasons which I actually don't have really a lot of time to go into, but it's good. It's a good idea. Excellent. Thanks for watching. I said that already.